You got so many clowns running around. You know, they're suddenly experts now on prisoner swaps and saying that, oh, this was an unfair deal for the United States, you know, of swapping Brittany Griner for Victor Bout. We got a basketball player in exchange for an arms dealer. Really? Really? So you think this was unfair to the United States? Let's look at the facts. Brittany Griner was in Russia. She was under Russian jurisdiction. She violated Russian law. Now, again, I don't agree with her sentencing. I think 9 years for that is absolutely draconian. But she was in Russia. Victor Bout never set foot in the United States. Brittany Griner didn't even do 1 year in prison. Victor Bout has done 15 years in prison. He's done most of his sentence. So how is that fair to the Russians? And the other prisoner transfer back in April, you had Konstantin Yushchenko in exchange for Trevor Reed, right? And I spoke to Konstantin just yesterday, and I spoke to him when he was released. And he told me, yeah, the swap is not fair. It's not fair for Russia because he served over 10 years in prison. And he, just like Victor Bout, never set foot in the United States. He was kidnapped and tortured by DEA agents in Liberia and dragged all the way to the US and framed for some bogus drug trafficking nonsense. He didn't even speak English. You scoured the globe to kidnap them and bring them to the US. You compare that to Trevor Reed, who was in Russia, just like Brittany Griner. He was under Russian jurisdiction. He broke the law in Russia. And again, he served not even barely a year of his sentence. And again, I'm not saying they should be in prison in Russia. I don't agree with the sentencing. But there's a big difference here. So don't sit there and tell me this was an unfair deal for the United States. No. What the United States did to those guys, kidnapping them, rendering them, that's unfair. And the Americans need to learn to take yes for an answer. Learn to take yes for an answer. Brittany Griner is an American. She's just as American as anybody else. She's just as American as Paul Whelan. She's just as American as Trevor Reed. So now that she's finally freed, don't start saying, oh, well, we should have gotten somebody. No. Hey, what is that? What is that? Do you care about her? Do you not care about her? Can you imagine being in her shoes? You're finally back home and people are saying, we shouldn't have gotten her. We should have taken that guy. Stop this victim mentality and understand how this works. You're not getting 15 Americans, for one Russian. That's not how this works. You want one American, you got to hand over one Russian. Learn how negotiations work. Learn how diplomacy works. And speaking of diplomacy, we need more diplomacy because this is happening amidst the war in Ukraine. Great. We want more of that. We want more diplomacy and negotiations and conversation between Russia and the US to end what's happening in Ukraine and to resolve a bunch of other issues. Good. We need more of that. And of course, it goes without saying, I'm glad that all of these guys are back home safe and sound and with their families. That's the most important thing. But let's get the facts straight.